Today's video is just going to be a quick video on the Lincoln MKZ taillights. Here we have a 2010 to 2012 style. Local mechanic reached out to me and said, hey, can you take a look at these LED taillights for me? The dealership wants $800 for the pair. That's just ridiculous. Customer doesn't want to do that. The mechanic doesn't want to do that. He said he called around to junkyards. I can get them for about $100 a piece, which is fine, but he knows that if he puts in a used unit that's just as old, it could very well have the same defect and either already be bad or gonna fail soon. So that really wasn't a good option that he wanted to go down either. So he asked me if I'd take a look at it, find the actual problem, fix the problem, make it reliable for a reasonable price. So that's why we're here today. The complaint was that they were flickering, and I was able to reproduce the flicker. I've already repaired both of these because I had no intentions on making a video on it. It just kind of got interesting through the repair process, so I figured, hey, you know what, this might be helpful to someone. We're out of the warranty period. They're expensive. I'm sure people would like to look into fixing these. So when he first came to me and said my LED taillights are flickering, 99% of the time, it's usually, when it comes to flickering, it's a failing LED, because when LEDs fail, they flicker. So that's what I thought I was getting into. But it turns out that wasn't the case with these. The mechanic had already disassembled the back half, so I don't know how he got to this, but you'll have to figure that part on your own. But what I can help you with is what's causing the flicker. So, like I mentioned earlier, I was able to reproduce it, and it took some time. It took some heat for it to start flickering. But I was expecting the LEDs to be bad, but what I noticed is when I hit this board with just a little bit of heat from my hot air station, the thing just turned into a disco light. It just went full bonkers blinking, so I started to look into this guy here. And I hit the LEDs with heat, made no difference. So it all came down to this little board, which removes pretty easily. It's just on a plug. So on this board, there are 7 transistors. And these are the guys, when I hit them with heat, it started acting up. So I went ahead and ordered replacement transistors. These are a BCP56. It's an NPN transistor. I will have part numbers down below. There's also an op amp on this board. It's a 2904 op amp. Again, all the part numbers will be in the description. I went ahead and replaced the op amp. I don't think that was the problem, but they're cheap, so why not just take care of it? The rest of the board really doesn't have much on it besides diodes and capacitors and resistors. There's not even a voltage regulator on this board, but even so, it actually does a really good job at... See, I'm going to turn down the voltage we're down. Yeah, it doesn't start to dim until like 7 volts, and it's really steady between. So here's 8 volts, and it's pretty consistent all the way up to like 14. So it does a really good job at regulating the brightness of the LED, and it's just a bunch of analog components. A bit of a weird situation. So there are 7 transistors. When I first saw this, I thought, well, maybe they have this sectioned off into like 7 channel zones, but no, they're all the LEDs are in parallel, which is not normal. Usually they're in series up until the usually it's 3 LEDs in series, because that way you can just use 1 resistor, you get your 12 volts, everyone's happy. But anyways, these are all in parallel. LEDs are in parallel. It's weird, but whatever, it works. I replaced the transistors and the flicker's gone. So now I can hit it with heat and it stays steady. So it looks like the source of the problem was just some transistors. Now, if you want to tackle this yourself, again, look in the description for part numbers. You can order up some parts, and if you have a hot air station, you can replace these components. If you do not feel up to it, I'll have my email also in the description, so you can reach out to me and I can replace these components for you. I think that's all this video is going to be. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.